Is Dragana with us already? Dragana,
Yes, Anya?
could you please monitor participants and chat?
Okay, yes, I can do it.
Thank you.
When you say participants, that everybody are there, that we are reaching our indicator, you mean on that?
Yeah, something
Okay.
like that. Because we have 14 now, I see, but I'm going to, I won't be seeing it because I see full screen presentation. So maybe you give me a shout out when you think we should start.
Okay, now we have 15.
Okay. So for everybody who's here already, we will give it a few more minutes maybe to make sure we have everybody on board because we're expecting around 40, 45 people for this seminar. This webinar is being recorded, so just to let you know. Yeah, that is about it. Give us a few minutes and then we will start. While we keep waiting, just a few notices. Please keep your mics muted throughout the presentations. If you have any comments or questions, you can always post them in the chat. We will monitor that and try to get back to you. And we will also, after each presentation, give you some few minutes to ask questions or give comments to the presenter. So then you can unmute yourself and we can exchange. But during the presentations, please make sure that all the mics are muted. Thank you. Shall we start, or you want to wait more?
They start.
Good, then let's start and see how many more people will join us while we get along. So a very, very warm welcome to everybody who is here already. We are happy to have you in our first AgriMocks webinar series on e-internship and higher education. Tomorrow we will follow this webinar with another one for e-internship in youth organizations. Welcome. I'm happy that you're here, and I hope you will have an interesting afternoon. I would like to give a special welcome to our FOPs. FOPs are the friends of our project. And if they are here, maybe they can raise their hand. I can't see this. Dragana or Matt, can you see people? Is somebody raising their hand or giving a thumbs up?
Not being, no.
Okay, then let
Looking.
me. Okay, otherwise, if somebody comes in as an FOP, we would like to see you to know more about you. So, what are friends of the project? We would like to use the power of friendship to kind of help us to increase our outreach. So FOPs, Friends of the Project, are people organization that participate in our initiatives and activities, and through their own network help us multiply and amplify our efforts and impact. So if they're here, welcome. We are very happy to have you. With any further ado, let me dive directly into an introduction of what is AgriMocks. You might be curious where this comes from. AgriMocks is an Erasmus program under the Virtual Exchange Program, and it brings together partners from 7 different countries, and some of them you will meet today during the presentations. The program runs throughout 26 and 27, and it is a virtual internship program, and each of these virtual internships will run for 6 weeks. What is it that we want to do? In this current situation where we think that young people might have limited job skills in personal skills, organizational skills, and so on, we would like to offer them a opportunity for a structured hands-on experience where they can apply any skills that they learn in meaningful ways and hopefully leave the project, the internship after 6 weeks, a little bit better prepared for future challenges. We want to give young people and students a real practical experience in entrepreneurship, in civic engagement and innovation by offering a safe space for a virtual internship that helps them turn what they learn into real action. What does that look like? It has 3 different tracks. In the first track, they get input, which they apply in the second track, which is the virtual company. And all they've learned in those 2 tracks will then be applied in the final week. What does it look like in more detail? Let me show you. So the first track is built up from an online learning platform where students and youth can access this at their own time and pace their learning at their own convenience. And this is accompanied by mentor-led sessions where where participants can reflect on their learnings. Then we have in track 2 the company, where the participants now become the team members of the company, and they have a boss who is a real-life entrepreneur, usually from Africa. And this entrepreneur gives them the challenges like any company issues or problems he might or she might have, and the team of peers from all over the world works together to solve these issues, and they get feedback from the entrepreneur. They also use this company setting to do their own career guidance activities, to like writing a CV, writing an application letter, finding out different job opportunities, different roles and responsibilities, and where they fit in. The program then accumulates in the last week, where they apply all of that, what they've learned and what they've done, in a 3-day company simulation. And at the end of the program, they will have a competition where they will pitch a community project that they've developed throughout the program. So this community program will be developed step by step throughout the 6 weeks, and then the different national teams or groups compete against each other to pitch their community project. What is our goal with the AgriMocks e-internship? We want students and young people provide an opportunity to understand how companies are structured, how they function, how they make the decisions. And we want them to learn teamwork, to learn how to communicate across different languages, across different cultures. We want to give them some exposure to entrepreneurship and like real world challenges. And we want to actually also give them all the skills they need to develop a pitch. And this whole experience is accompanied with regular reflection on personal growth and their own career plans. What does it look like in the weekly overview of the 6 weeks? So we have the online course, which I would like to see like them working on 4 to 5 hours per week at their own time and convenience. Then we have mentor-led sessions, which are 90 minutes per week. And we have the company play sessions where they come together with their team and their entrepreneur 4 times a week for 30-minute sessions. And this is framed by reflection seminars throughout, like to start off, in the middle, and at the end, where we have the competition with the pitch. That is an overview of the AgriMocks program. With this, I would like to end it here and hand over to my colleagues, unless you have very urgent questions for me now. Otherwise, keep them and maybe they be answered throughout the session. Otherwise, then I would hand over to Dragana, and I stop sharing for now. Wait, how can I stop sharing here? There. Dragana, over to you.
Hello there, this is Marco. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I will be presenting. I will be presenting the topic of module 4.
Okay. Are you doing it, or is Dragana doing it now? Who's next?
Marco and Dragana. Marco and Dragana.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good.
So we are together, but I will be the principal presenter, as these are my topics.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
Right. So we have up to 30 minutes, and I will make sure to be very straightforward with the key concepts from our module 4. I know that I'm addressing you as educators, professors, trainers, youth workers, and those delivering some educational and training activities to your learners. Either they be students or youth workers, it doesn't matter. So I would like to share within next 20, 25, 30 minutes with you our understanding of the concepts of e-internship as participation opportunity, and also of civic participation as a concept which maybe familiar to us, and also the advocacy and the policy making or decision taking, which is closely related to civic participation as another concept of taking and performing some usual activities. So let me just, before I open the presentation, just to open, no, this is the wrong document, to open the document for myself. Yeah, okay. So first of all, I would like, I don't know how many of you have experience with e-internship as educational and training format. I see we have many participants here. This format is rather new for me. We've been in Webin working with e-internship only as of this year. So we've been learning about what e-internships are, how can they be used in our training and education programs, and how relevant and actual would they be for our learners. And among learners, we have a very diverse groups of people, from youth workers and people active in youth sector, to civic administration at municipalities, state level, to university professors, grammar professors, primary school professors, vet school professors, and to some specific occupations. So for any of those groups of learners, we have to prepare tailor-made approach and tailor-made content not only to address their learning needs, which are different, but also with our training delivery approach, we need to adapt it the best way we know to the way our learners used to learn and to collect information and to understand presented information. And it is very different when we work with youth, young generations, and it is different. We have different approach when we do with training with adult learners, because the way how they learn, the way how they take part in education and training is completely different. There are many specificities which we need to know and understand as educators. So when we come to e-internship, this is a novel mode of training delivery or educational content delivery, which was inspired during Corona restrictions in movement and collaboration. So many collaborative forms shifted from face-to-face forms to electronic virtual forms. And this shift was also followed by development of different softwares supporting this and enabling people from different locations to meet together and work collaboratively. So e-internship is one of these legacies of this incubation and solution-seeking endeavors during Corona process. And the AgriMocks project was also funded by European Commission within this Erasmus strand as a form of piloting to see what can we jointly develop as educational program and what will we get out of it. How useful will it be? How relevant will it be? What will be the comments and reactions of our learners, in this case, students and youth workers, and so on. Especially given that we are trying here to work collaboratively between two continents and many countries in Europe and in Africa, which is innovation itself. So when we come to e-internships, the major characteristic is the fact that it takes place online. And this virtual component make e-internships unique form of delivery. And this raises also important question. Can any type of internship be delivered virtually? We know that internships are forms of learning and training were taking place in a real working environment, in the office, in the workshop, on the farm, in a factory, and so on. The idea with internship that we spend some time in a real working environment to gain some experience. When we say experience, we here refer to three types of learning experiences. One is related to new knowledge. So at internships, we gain new knowledge or we deploy knowledge gained at the classroom sessions preceding the internship. Sorry. Then next learning experience is development of skills in terms of the ways how we make something. This normally involve use of hands, use of arms, showing some technique, using the talent to create something new, but also using the digital tools to create some new products in a digital form. And finally, the third learning experience relates to the attitudes. In every occupation, whatever we do, we differ according to our attitudes. Some people are team players, some people are solo players. There are different performances in same occupation of team players and solo players. Then some of us in our occupation see that the glass is half empty. Some others see that the glass is half full. So with these different attitudes and different perspectives, we demonstrate different values that we use in our work and our occupation, and we have different results at the end. So internships in a working environment are there to extend our knowledge, theories, concepts, facts, skills, and attitudes. When we come to electronic internships, e-internships, it is a big question. What of these can be shifted from real working environment to electronic environment, to the Zoom, to the Moodle, or any other virtual platform that can be the basis of our learning experience. I speak this from a position of someone who still learns about the capacity and potential of e-internship to replace partly or fully regular face-to-face internships. And I will raise the questions loudly with you so that we all can consider them and maybe discuss them. Yes. What we can see from our experience with regards to this question, what can become an e-internship, is that it depends very much on the occupation or profession in which we organize e-internship. For example, some occupations are delivered or taking place in the office environment. So in the office environment, most probably we will be able to fully conduct or shift e-internship from face-to-face to virtual one. But for example, if we work on the farm and if we need to learn something and experience some occupational process on the farm, then it is a big question mark. What part of this experience can be done virtually and what needs to be done on the farm? There are many people that believe that in every occupation, one part of this internship, of expected internship, can be done virtually. Mostly those segments and activities related to gaining new knowledge or improving the knowledge base and affecting the attitudes, affecting the way how we think about our work. through some quizzes, role plays, articles to read, plays to take, group work to take, which can be also done virtually, and so on. However, some activities will have to take place in the real working environment in some occupations, while in some other, entire internship can most probably be transferred, shifted, or translated to e-internship. So it is up to us to think about in our occupation what can be done virtually and what can be singled out as virtual activity and what needs to be done face to face. So what else is important when we speak about e-internship? Although this is a relatively new format, e-internships will likely become more important through the concept of micro-credentials. I don't know how familiar are you with micro-credentials. This is the educational concept of learning specific units of knowledge, experiences, and attitudes through limited time-bound and smaller units of learning activities, where each learning unit completed and validated that the learning outcome took place will be somehow certified through these micro-credential certificates or in any other appropriate way. One of the ways is ValiComp procedure, which was presented by Webin as the part of our contribution to entrepreneurship competence validation. What else? E-internships as together with micro-credentials, it is another positive aspect of e-internship is together with micro-credentials, these concepts allow learners, students, and youth workers, those taking e-internship, to have flexible learning pathways or flexible learning trajectories. So to choose what micro-credential competencies would they like to gain and develop, what is relevant for their occupation, learning needs, and so on, and to take them virtually in very flexible way, so that the learning outcomes are also the mix of flexible micro competencies, which altogether match perfectly the learning needs or occupational needs for competencies of every individual. What else I would add to e-internships? Yes, it is. E-internships is also can be also very valuable in certain countries and certain regions, especially there where conditions for physical mobility are challenging, or where there are barriers, restrictions, and any kind of reasons why people cannot physically move and why virtual way of collaboration is more preferred or recommended. This mostly refers to rural areas, to remote locations, to countries which are developing countries with where people cannot afford physical movement and education in another city, town, country, regions lacking transportation infrastructure, regions and countries and societies with low safety levels or high levels of economic deprivation of most of people, and so on. So in these countries, these areas, these regions, e-internship could be a good alternative and maybe even primarily way of training, learning, and developing needed competencies. And finally, I would also add another aspect, which is about organizers, about institutions and educators taking part in hosting, developing, hosting, implementing e-internship, or have any other legal interest in this. What we can see here in Webin about e-internships is that most of success is based on good preparation. So good preparation is essential. This includes knowing how to prepare materials for the Moodle platform and also how to use tools such as Lumi for developing the materials in different forms with different appearances and different allowing different methods for learning. And it is also important that we reconsider our attitudes. We as educators or teachers or professors, especially those with significant experience, we used to one way or the proved, validated way of teaching and delivering educational activity or training. But with this trend that we will most probably more use ICT platforms, forums, and tools for learning and also teaching and delivering training, we need to be open as educators to embrace this kind of learning, to adapt, to develop our own competencies that we can prepare the training program in a way that young generations use to learn today, so that we can follow their learning needs and their preferred way of learning, which is less and less classroom, more and more use of ICT tools and this kind of learning experiences. By this adaptation of our own program, we will make sure that our learning programs, our educational programs, our training programs remain relevant, attractive, and aligned with the ways new generations used to learn. So I would stop here with e-internship. I hope this was not too long. I hope the content was relevant and useful. So I will now move to civic participation and policy making. Let me just share. May I share? Yes. All right. Yep. All right. So we may move. About civic participation, why is this important and why did we nominate this in this e-internship program? And why is this also the compulsory part of all e-internships funded at the same time as AgriMocks project and internship? So when we speak about civic participation, this is something more or less known to everyone.
Marco, may I quickly interrupt you? You will just see your whole screen, not your presenter mode.
Oh, all right. So you don't see presentation?
We see the presentation, but in the not in presentation mode. We see it also with the sidebar and everything else.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry.
Go to slideshow.
Thank you. Thank you, Ina. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so what would I share with you as educators about civic participation? What I believe that it is important that we as educators know about civic participation because we work with different populations who learn from us. And civic participation is not scientific field. This is the concept that we live every day as the citizens. So civic participation is based on universal rights, which we have all as humans. The right to speak, freely speak, the right to freely move, and the right to associate and work something together in the field where we share the same interest for. So people, individually or in groups, they take part in different social activities through NGOs, through volunteering, through political participation, but also through social entrepreneurship activities. With different motivations, every motivation, which is of course in accordance with the law, is legitimate. So we are free as humans to think, speak, move, and associate. What we are not free to do is to violate the law. So we cannot associate to conduct crime, to harm other people, to conduct terrorist activities, and to violate the law for what we know is the law. Everything else, what is not violation of the law, is our free will to take part and participate. When we say this is about civic, meaning that citizens are allowed. About participation, this means that we take part in some social processes. When we say social processes, we mostly refer here to some areas in the society where some social problems are existing or some social challenges, and where people, through their NGOs, through volunteering activities, through political participation, or through social entrepreneurship, contribute to addressing those social problems with the idea to contribute to solving the problems. So, there are many ways of participation, like I said, NGO, volunteering, political participation, social entrepreneurship. Volunteering, in some countries, volunteering is regulated by the law. In some countries, it is basically regulated by the general legislation without specific law. I don't know, is there any country where volunteering is forbidden? The idea with volunteering is not to create the profit, but to donate your time, your skills, your expertise to help support or aid those which are deprived, vulnerable, or in any way disadvantaged population, without any idea to gain any profit. We volunteer through organizations, we volunteer in our neighborhood, in unorganized way, whatever. Volunteering is basically welcomed in every country, and in some countries, and also through the UN and other international organizations, it is also very much encouraged. And there are also some data of the UN indicating that volunteering also creates a great added value and also contributes to GDP in those countries where it is highly developed. Political participation, we know, we all are adults, we have political attitudes, we also maybe politically participate in formal way through political parties or informal way also as the citizens in political processes. Political participation means that we take part in decision making about public policies. How will the legislation, regulations will look like? How will different aspects of our lives be regulated? How will different values and wealth be distributed and treated, and so on? So, through political participation, we compete for political rights and political powers to change the things in the society. Social entrepreneurship, as a form of civic participation, is again it doesn't refer to commercial activities, or it doesn't necessarily refer to commercial activities, but it refers to activities aiming not to make the profit, unlike regular entrepreneurship, which aims to make the profit, but social entrepreneurship aims to create a social value, not the profit, but the social value, especially if it is if the beneficiaries of any social entrepreneurship company, for example, or establishment are people in social need, like people in poverty, migrants, and other people which are allowed to use social benefits. So I wouldn't go further with this. I would like to move on with advocacy and policymaking or decision-making as the third part of this presentation, and module 4. We like to speak about advocacy and as activity, social activity leading to policy making and decision taking. So first about the policies or public policies. We treat as a policy any regulation or any regulation which has repercussions on our life and work. The way how different sections in our life are regulated or unregulated, means that we do not have public policy for certain unregulated aspects, or how social problems are addressed. For example, during the COVID era, there were many controversies how the governments and other instances were addressing the crisis within COVID. And these were policies. These were actions and regulations that those governments thought are the best at the moment. Some other parties and other social groups were advocating and suggesting some other approaches. And yes, these are the policies. What about advocacy? Advocacy, we consider activities leading to communication, informing, educating, and changing the position of policymakers about certain issue. For example, if we speak about, okay, maybe COVID is obsoleted. I don't know why do I mention COVID as a term, but if we take any field of daily life which is regulated or unregulated, for example, tuition fees at universities. As far as I know, in Germany, students do not pay tuition fees. In Serbia, some students don't, some students do. So these are some policies, governmental policies about tuition fees. In some countries, students pay tuition fee if they want to study. It's compulsory. So, for example, the advocacy activity would be a set of activities leading to informing the government why the policy of imposing tuition fee is not good. What are the consequences? Are there any alternatives? Informing, are there any alternatives? Educating about positive aspects of removing the tuition fee, and that way making the government to change their position about tuition fees. When we speak about social problems and advocacy, then we normally speak about two sides of the coin. On one side is the government, those in position of power, those who are decision makers, policy makers, and depending on their policies and decisions, we will see in very concrete areas the consequences, the result. So on one side we have those in power. On other side of advocacy we have those lacking power, groups in need. For example, in case of example with tuition fees, those in need would be students. So in some other cases, we may see, for example, single moms as target groups, then asylum seekers and migrants, then people in poverty, homeless people, any kind of minority groups which are so inferior as a group that they do not have power for their voice to be heard. And actually advocacy, the word, the terminology, comes from the Latin words to give a voice. So to give a voice to someone who doesn't have a voice. And when we speak about giving the voice, we can give the voice to any legitimate group which has any legitimate problem or social problem that they would like to address to those in power. Right. So what else I would like to share with you? So it's 3:15. I don't know how many minutes do I have more. But
you should wrap up quickly.
Yep. Okay. So I will not move on with this anymore. I will leave this for the module, the details, the other details. I find advocacy, policy making, and decision taking very, very interesting and very needed in a daily life. And I believe it is applicable to every occupation and every kind of professional work we do. Many times I discuss with my colleagues from life science universities, from agricultural universities. I say I advocate for advocacy as important horizontal competence for people in farming. Because we know that farmers very often take strikes, go to strike as a way of communication with the government and as a way of presenting their legitimate interests towards the government. One of the reasons for these often strikes might also be the lack of advocacy competence, because strike is just one instrument in discussing and pushing for or advocating for, but not the only one. There are many other instruments and forms of advocacy, because advocacy is a set of skills and set of activities which doesn't need only to press, but it also needs at first place to raise our awareness about the problem. Because, for example, some civic servant who is not from the field of farming might be an important person for decision making for farmers, but doesn't know anything about farming and about farmer problems. Maybe he or she is educated, but if you're not on the farm, you will not understand it, from the first hand. So this making someone being aware and conscious is very important activity. Then communication, informing, educating about alternatives are all important steps towards making someone change his or her attitude, including political attitude, accepting that there is a problem, understanding that there are alternatives, understanding all goods and bad things if decision is changed, and changing their attitudes. So this is why I advocate towards colleagues from different occupations that advocacy and policy making, decision taking is very important horizontal competence in every educational program, equipping someone with knowledge for certain occupation. Because apart from the knowledge about the occupation, we might also encounter different problems in our occupation, like, for example, the taxation. Taxation has nothing to do with farming, but affects farming very much. So we need also to know how to address those horizontal issues and to protect our occupation from attitudes which might be harmful. So I hope that Module 4 will be interesting and will grab interests of students and youth workers. Thank you very much for the attention, and I'm giving back floor to Anya.
Thank you very much, Marco. So this gave you a good idea into one of the major parts of the AgriMocks program, which is civic participation, besides entrepreneurship. I would like with this to give the floor to Teruso Teshale, a colleague from Hawassa University in Ethiopia. Can you see my screen? Am I actually sharing screen or not yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, let me do this. Here we go. So, Teruso, I hope you are ready. Teruso is going to talk about the twin transition concept, which is one of the underlying concepts in the AgriMocks program. So one thing that throughout the whole program will be implemented, and Teruso will draw some attention to it, to what it is and why it is important. So Teruso, I hope you're ready. Here you go.
Yeah. Thank you, Anya. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, Anya. And thank you, everyone. So, as Anya said, I'm going to present on the topic twin transition. So, in my presentation, I'll try to give focus on the concept of twin transition, its benefit, and how the higher education institution integrates the twin transition in their activities. And finally, I'll conclude my presentation with the concept of showing how twin transition links with AgriMocks. Just to present from the concept of twin transition refers to the parallel and interconnected process of the digital as well as the green transition. So it focuses on viewing digitalization and sustainability as simultaneous activities. So generally, twin transition has three important focus areas. The one is digital transition, the second one is green transition, and the third one is synergy between these two transitions. So the first digital transition or focus area of twin transition is digital transition, and it is all about the widespread adoption of the digital technologies into all aspects of the economy and society to improve efficiency and create new values. So specifically, this digital transition focuses on integrating modern digital tools like using internet access, artificial intelligences, smart systems into organizational operation and infrastructure systems. And the second concept is green transition. And this green transition involves reorienting economics, industrial, and social practices toward sustainability. And it mostly focuses on reducing environmental impacts and promoting circular economy principles. When we say circular economy principles, by itself, these circular economy principles have three major principles. The first one is when we are producing products, the product should be designed to use fewer resources and should be durable, and as much as possible, the production process should produce less wastes. This focus mainly reduce waste and pollution. That's why we said it is green transition. And the second one is when items are produced, they have to be reused or shared instead of being thrown away. And this mostly focus on reusing and repairing products. And the last principles of circular economy is that recycling material at the end of the life should be, the raw materials or the product at the end of the end life should be reused. So green transition is all about reducing environmental impacts That's why we said it's focused on environmental impact reduction. So the third focus area of twin transition is that there must be synergy between digital transition and environmental transition. And yeah, practically it's possible to transit digitally by using by adopting different digital transition, but this adoption mechanism or digital transition should not be bring a negative impact on the sustainability issue or the green transition. So there must be twin transition is all about strategic approach, just addressing both digital as well as sustainability challenges, just to contribute to environmental conservation as well as responsible uses. Once we clearly understand the concept of twin transition, let's see its importance. Why organizations or countries adopt twin transition? What the benefit? As it's seen here, majorly we don't have four importance if we are going to get if we adopt twin transition. The first one is it accelerates sustainable innovation. Look, when organizations or countries start to use digitalization and sustainability simultaneously, it helps us to boost the new business model for the economy, for the demand. The other very important benefit of twin transition is that economic competitiveness and resilience. When the organization or countries successfully implement this twin transition, they become more competitive, resilient, and future-proof because since they are using the two technology, which is very important, demanded by the current economy, they can move together. They can move with the pace of the demand of the new customer, and they are not going to be shocked by the change that is going to be implemented in the real world. So it creates economic competitiveness and resilience. The others is very known and straightforward. It helps to workforce and skill evolution. We know that currently the situation proves that there is high demand in the labor that has a skill of green and digital. So once the organizations or the country adopt this twin transition, it fosters the evolution of skills and workforce. Lastly, but very importantly, we know that there are different agreements, conventions that are aimed to tackle climate changes, like Sustainable Development Goals. So when we adopt this twin transition, it helps the policymakers in creating room for a framework to align climate goals with digital transformation agendas. Next, does really Sustainable Development Goals and twin transition related? Are they aligned? Yes. As we know, there is targets adopted in 2015 as part of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. There are 17. And when you see these 17 Sustainable Development Goals, either directly or indirectly or moderately, they are related with twin transition. Just simply show you at a glance, as is on the slide, there are 5 Sustainable Development Goals that are moderately connected to twin transition, whereas from 17, the other 6 Sustainable Development Goals are indirectly aligned with twin transition, and around 4 Sustainable Development Goals are directly linked or connected with twin transition. These are like Sustainable Development Goal 7, SDG 9, SDG 12, SDG 13 are directly linked with twin transition. The others are indirect. So what we understand is that once we adopt this twin transition, in one way or another way, except 2 important Sustainable Development Goals, The other 15 development goals are related with twin transition. Just simply to show the first sustainable development goals that are directly connected to twin transition, how the twin transition contributes to the achievement of these SDG 7. For instance, the twin transition advocates that digital tools such as smart grids, internet-based sensors, renewable energy sources are encouraged by twin transition, and directly this has an impact on achieving the 7th sustainable development goal. So when we are concluding the connection between sustainable development goals and twin transition, almost when we adopt the twin transition, we can achieve the targets of the 15th sustainable development goals. So now, if we understand the concept and the importance of twin transition, how higher education institutions integrate the twin transition, we know that generally higher education institutions have a mission of teaching, research, and community service. So when they adopt these twin transition principles by aligning with digital transformation and sustainable principles on teaching, research, and institutional operations, they can build a resilient system, enhance innovation, and prepares graduates for sustainable and technology-driven careers. Just to show you how the roadmap, how the higher education integrates this twin transition, the first area in which the higher education institution integrate the principles of twin transition is their daily operation, which means they need to apply the principles of the twin transition to their daily operation in the governments. When they are doing this, they can make themselves as role model and example. For instance, just simply mention they can use sensors in the classroom, office, laboratories, just to monitor the electricity usage. As well, it's also possible to use different renewable energy, for instance, solar panels, just putting on the building roof. And even it's possible just to make the daily operation more digital based by implementing paperless administration, by using digital signature and blah, blah, and blah, blah. The other area in which the higher education is going to implement the twin transition is the curriculum and teaching. As I said earlier, the current demand of the world is more or less highly dependent on the labor force that have skills on green and digital. So the higher education are expected to adopt educational content to equip graduates with the skills needed for green and digital economies. So they need to embed the concept of twin transition in their curricula so that it helps them to produce graduates that is highly demanded by the market. The third area, research and innovation. That means research and innovation activities in higher education should support the industry and foster innovation and knowledge exchange in twin transition. What does it mean? It means the research should engage in identifying the potential of digital technologies to improve environmental outcomes. At last, but a very important point, let's see the link between twin transition and AgriMocks. Agriculture is challenging because of new green and digital methods currently. So if the agriculture sector does not adopt these new methods, the young generation who are dependent on the sector will become less competitive. Further, the current situation suggests that more jobs require technology skills. So the skills needed in the future are different from the past. So there is an increased demand for future-proof education that incorporate entrepreneurial and digital competencies. Therefore, having this in mind, AgriMocks focuses on entrepreneurial learning in the framework of team transition. AgriMocks fosters intercultural dialogue and cross-cultural learning. AgriMocks promotes digital competencies, soft skills, and youth empowerment. AgriMocks offer a virtual environment that ensures digital and social inclusion. Thank you very much for your attention. Over to Anya.
Thank you very much, Teruso. Dragana, do we have any comments or questions in the chat that would require us to have a short break for questions and answers, or can we move on?
There is a question in the chat, Enya.
Yeah, okay. I can't see it. Matt, can you
Okay,
read it out for us?
Yep. So it's from, forgive me if the pronunciation's wrong, but it's Prof. Valse. Good afternoon. I have a few questions. Are there specific green or digital skills the internship helped me build? If so, can you name a few? Will we work on real projects related to sustainability or digital transformation? So are there specific green or digital skills the internship helps build? Can you name a few? And can you work on real projects related to sustainability?
Okay. So if I understand you right, you want to know if we will in the program work on actual problems and what kind of skills in this field will be developed. Yes. We will work on actual problems, and they might change from internship to internship series, because we will have different entrepreneurs on board who will run the virtual company together with the employees who are our participants, the youth and students that take this internship. And the problem that they are solving will be delivered by the entrepreneur. So the entrepreneur will provide us with an actual issue he or she faces in the company. And this can be anything or everything. So it's difficult to say right now what it actually is going to be, but then skills will be built around this problem, but on a more general manner, because we want to bring in also the topic of civic participation, of sustainability and twin transition. So not only solving the immediate problem, but also keep in mind the sustainability aspect of it, the civic aspect of it. So all of these skills will be built throughout tackling the problem that will be provided by the entrepreneur. So this can be a wide variety. It's difficult to say what in detail it will be, but it will always look at it from the four aspects that are the thematical aspects of AgriMocks program, which is the twin transition, entrepreneurship, career guidance, and civic participation. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, we're getting a yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Then I will ask Nomfundo from Nikosa, which is a youth organization in South Africa, to give us an insight into another topic that will be part of the program as part of the building interpersonal skills, intercultural skills, communication skills. Nomfundo is going to talk about intercultural dialogue and building bridges through dialogue. Nomfundo, I hope you're here.
Yes, I'm right here.
Good. Then I'll open the floor for you. You tell me when you want to skip to the next slide, please.
Okay, I will do so. Thank you, Anya. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope it's afternoon for all of us. It is afternoon here with us in South Africa, and interestingly, my topic is a cross-cutting topic that as we are engaged in this webinar today, we are already engaging in intercultural dialogue. The aim of the dialogue, especially in this particular program from AgriMocks' internship program, the aim of it is to ensure that we build bridges through dialogue, we build bridges through culture, and we build bridges through assertiveness and tolerance, because unless we have done that, we would struggle with getting the best results out of it. If we're looking at the program that is laid out, if you could please, Anya, go to the agenda of the workshop, what this is going to cover. So we're looking at the introduction to dialogue, where we are going to look at what is dialogue, because especially here, we'll probably be dealing in a formal situation, which could be university students, or we could be dealing in an informal situation, in which case would be just dealing with the youth within the community where I am actually involved. I think people who have been exposed to ethnographic studies, where you find yourself immersed in the culture of the community and observing the reality of it, the aim of this intercultural dialogue within the AgriMocks e-internship is to actually do that, to create cohesion, to remove the stereotypes. So the focus mainly is to make sure that all participants remember in this program, we actually have got about 7 countries. We have got 3 countries in Europe, and we have got, which is Finland. Finland is a Nordic country in Northern Europe, and I do feel that I need to explain this, because in the informal sector, we try and get everything to detail, to explain everything to detail, because unless the person understands the background of what you are talking about, it becomes difficult for them to find their own space. So we have got a Nordic country in Northern Europe, which is Finland. We have got Germany in Central Europe, and Serbia in the Balkan Peninsula in Southeastern Central Europe. So those are the 3 European countries. And applying this internship, we will be working in these countries as much as we have not even laid our feet there. And in Africa, we have got 4 countries. We have got 2 from West Africa, that's Ghana and Senegal. And then we have got Ethiopia. In East Africa, then we have got my very own country, which is South Africa. So you can already pick up the bias there, that when I called out South Africa, I had to claim it as my own. So that is part of dialogue. Those are things that we deal with in this cross-cutting topic of dialogue. We are getting into cross-cultural learning with the opportunity that we are being provided for by European Union through AgriMocks, and the aim is to ensure that we don't only engage people who are in the urban areas or people who are in formal education, but who are able to go right to the rural outlying areas where there are people who would be focused on what the project would bring to them and what they can benefit from the project. If we are looking at culture, the major challenge that comes up, if we would move to the next slide, please. So if we are looking at the dialogue and looking at culture, if in defining dialogue, we're looking at a respectful is very important, because respect is also a value that is cross-cutting. There is no country in the world that doesn't uphold respect. So in whatever encounter that we have, in the internship, functioning as youth workers, functioning as lecturers in the universities, functioning as civil servants, we all engage in a form of dialogue in a respectful way. We create a decorum. It's a two-way conversation, and it's focused on understanding. That is the major aim. So it sort of flattens the playing fields. It levels the playing fields, where it creates inclusion and everybody feels equally important and also equally appreciated. If we're looking at what does it involve active listening. When we talk about listening, it's not just the ears that listen, ears here, but listening is when you commit yourself to getting understanding of what is being said. There is openness. Openness is openness to learning from one another, because as we said that it's a two-way conversation, there is going to be learning new things. And those new things would need to be removing the cobwebs being the stereotypes, being the generalizations. So when now you encounter a person from Ghana, well, Ghana with all its dialects that are there, you would still need to understand more or in depth of the dialects themselves. So you need to be open. You would not say by meeting a few people from Ghana, then you know people from Ghana, until such time that you get immersed in their culture within their country. There'll be curiosity of wanting to know everything about the other person. Because in order for us to cooperate, in order for us to collaborate and seamlessly function together, we have got to ensure that we have arrived on common ground. Why does dialogue matter? Dialogue builds trust. And when there is trust, everything else leans on it. Because if there is trust, I know that whatever I'm learning from Anya, it is what is going to take me forward. And it is going to ensure that the project or the program becomes successful for all of us. It reduces conflict, because that is a major time waster. Apart from being a time waster, it also affects a person emotionally. So it actually even gets into your personal space. And imagine in this situation, as Marco presented mentioned in his presentation, that in this space where we are in, we are operating in a virtual connection. We are not operating face to face, where we are able to clear up certain misunderstandings. So here we need to go the extra mile when we are engaging with the participants from other countries. So we need to walk away enriched than having misgivings about our interaction. It promotes cooperation, and I've also said that apart from cooperation, it promotes seamless collaboration. And there is cohesion that we also get to. It filters the stereotypes and generalization from reality, because that is where you are able to actually verify where you engage with the person from another country when you are in your situation and they are in their situation, and they can share certain things which are realities in their situation. For instance, now you are sitting in Finland, or you're sitting in Germany, you're sitting in Serbia, in Ghana, in Ethiopia, you are sitting in Senegal. But here am I sitting here in South Africa, and in interaction with you, you would say today that you have met me because you have seen me. So that is where our intercultural dialogue breaks down the walls that separate us and creates our cohesion. Can we move to the next one, please? Can we move to the next? Okay. So one of the major topics here is going to be focusing on meeting culture. So if we're looking at meeting culture, as you can see, I used our different flags because a flag is part of a culture. You find that even in Olympics, that is where people take pride, that suddenly when they are winning, you see their flag being wrapped around them or them running around with their flag because they are actually expressing their culture. They are expressing their identity to the others that are there, that they would need to celebrate with them. And the aim in this AgriMocks program is also to do that you are raising your flag not in competition, but you are raising your flag in collaboration and in cooperation with the other flags that are around you. So you are aiming to ensure that the offer that we have got or the program that we have received from the European Union has been split and it is touching all those countries equally and enriching individual countries equally as well. So if we are looking at these participants, the conditions or the challenges differ. But when we share the information, it actually makes the load to be easier on each one of us. So if we're looking at where cultures meet, in this AgriMocks program, there would be certain parts of our culture. As you know, that the culture is made of many things. It involves language, food, and all other things. So here, there are certain parts of culture that are going to become more important. If we would move into the next slide, please. If we're looking at this iceberg that we have here, the iceberg is actually teaching us it's giving us a representation of culture in this e-internship that we're going to be involved in, that we're already involved in as we speak. There is going to be the surface culture, which, generally that you become a tourist in Finland, a tourist in South Africa or anywhere, and you say, oh, I know something about South Africa. They've got 11 languages and slang and whatever encounter that you have had. That is just what is on the surface, but that is not telling you anything about the country. The country then would need to be going into the deep culture of the country. You look at the communication styles, you look at the social roles, you look at the emotional expressions, and what you would find there with all these different areas that are not on the surface is that you would suddenly start getting more and more curious. As we said, that it promotes curiosity. It makes you to want to know more, and not in comparison with yours, but in promoting understanding, because that is what is core, so that at the end we would have cooperation. And if we would move to the next slide, please. This is what makes culture in a variety, in various situations, but with the project or the program that we are involved in, we are promoting communication, which is important. There has to be clarity in communication. We sometimes have certain words or certain sentences that we write out, like myself. English is not my first language. My first language is Zulu, and I've got Sotho. I've got other languages all around me. But when I am working with people from other countries, I need to have an openness towards understanding where they're coming from without it pulling it into conflict, but creating a non-judgmental attitude, ensuring that, especially with attitude, because at times it might not be so much what you are presenting in terms of what is visual, like your food is visual, like your language, I've heard what you say. It might not be in the language, but it might be in the tone that you have used, which could be condescending at times. So all those things are things that one has got to consider whilst we are engaged from different countries, learning from one another and growing together. If we would move to the next, please. Cultural insights. If we look at Serbia, I hope the Sabians would affirm me with this insight, that they are direct, they are passionate, they value honesty. So you can imagine, as part of this internship, you are asked to do a certain project and you don't do it, but you don't own up to doing that. And to the Sabians, you've just broken one of their major or important rules. Ghana, our brothers and sisters in Ghana, they're polite, they're warm, they have respect for authority. So if you have been allowed an extension on your assignment, and then an extension of 2 days on your assignment, and you take 3 or you don't pitch at all, you have broken one of their rulings, because to them, authority is the person that they are answering to. So the leader or the professor who is the authority over them, you have shown disrespect towards that person. Germany, they're direct, they're structured, they've got low hierarchy. Well, I relate more with that, with the home in Hamburg. Yes, they are like that. And well, there's a part that is missing there, which is the importance of time to them. Time is not African time. They've got their time and they stick to it. South Africa, we're diverse, we're sensitive to race. There's a lot of inequality. Well, that has been historically our story. And it is something that is a cultural insight that we carry with us. Senegal, they are indirect. They have respect for elders and religion, which relates to what we saw in Ghana. In Ethiopia, polite, modest, and hierarchical. That there is this particular trend that we are seeing, that there's a lot of polite that is coming out of Africa. And then we have Finland, right, in the north, direct but understated, and they are egalitarian. And these are the cultural insights that I just picked up, which are things that in our interaction would be coming up, which in the time that we have interacted already have come up. And then let's have the next slide, please. Another important thing that is developing, as I said, that this topic is cross-cutting and progressively there in every module that we're going to be in. The most important thing is that we need to individually and collectively develop a skill that we need to apply we apply in our real life, that we would set as a goal. For instance, if I realize that I have got a certain stereotype towards a particular participant, I would need to work on that, overcome that, so that I focus on being sensitive to hierarchy, being sensitive to language, being sensitive to conflict styles, and ensuring inclusive participation of all, because this is just one project or one program, and that is the common goal. And we need to focus on shared values. We walk away having respected one another, having ensured that we learn from one another, to being curious, and we still teamwork in all that we do. I think I will be ending there. That would be my last one. Thank you, everybody. If you have got any questions, contributions, this is a cross-cultural learning exchange that we have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nomfundo. That was very interesting. And this is also demonstrating one of the major topics of the AgriMocks program, that we want to encourage intercultural exchange, intercultural learning. And that is not just learning some tricks or skills one country participant might have and another might not have, but it's actually learning also how to relate to each other, how to communicate, and how to navigate teamwork in intercultural teams. Thank you very much. Are there any questions in the chat or anything that has come up? Otherwise, I will move on.
No, there's nothing in the chat, Anu.
Okay, then we'll be moving to our colleague from Ethiopia, Tsigereda. She works with EDI That is a program that works with entrepreneurship training. And she will be talking about the Intracomp competency framework, which is also one of the underlying principles of the AgriCom program. So, Tsigareta, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here, Anya.
Okay, then I'll throw you into it straight away.
Okay,
The floor is
thank
yours.
you. Okay, thank you, Anya, for the introduction, and thank you, everyone, for being here. I will provide a concise historical overview of the development of the Intercom framework. So in late 1990s and early 2000, the European began to face a slowdown in their economy, while developing countries like China, India, Brazil become a competitive players in the global market. So in response to that challenge, the European Union promoted a principle of knowledge-based economic development by advocating a shift toward this knowledge-based economy. So based on that principle, in 2016, in 2006, the European Commission identified 8 competencies which are very important in our modern day life. So these competencies are essential to be integrated into lifetime learning platforms. So building on that initiative or foundation, in 2016, the European Entrepreneurial Competency, better known as Intercom, was introduced. And this framework aimed to integrate the entrepreneurial competencies into educational platform and training platforms. So this, by doing so, it will equip individuals, learners, practitioners, the skills and competencies that will help them to strive in this competitive environment. So the Intercom framework believe that the entrepreneurial competencies, they are not only important for they are not only important for business, but they are also important for personal development. So after being personal developed, these skills can be transferred to business. So it emphasized the importance of this skill for personal development. So this entrepreneurial framework believe the competency can apply to all spheres of life by fostering personal development. It can help individuals to have active participation in the community. It can help people to be competent in the labor market. It can help people to run successful businesses. It can help people to be competent in any work environment. So this competency believe that these skills can be applied in any spheres of life. So the framework is built on 50 entrepreneurial competencies, which are categorized under 3 main areas. These areas are ideas and opportunity, resource, and into action. So each competencies have their own descriptors that we are going to share with you later on. So the first, as you can see, in ideas and opportunity, we differentiate them using different colors. So in ideas and opportunity, there are 5 competencies under it. So in ideas and opportunity, you can see spotting opportunity, ethical and sustainable thinking, creativity, and all the other 2. We can go to the area of, okay, we can go to the resource. So here in the resource category, we can see that it's mentioned self-awareness, self-efficacy, mobilizing resource, working with others. So these are some of the competencies that are included under resource. So under into action category, we can see that taking initiatives, working with others, learning through experience, and the other 2 are categorized under this area of category. So the important thing here you want to emphasize is that all the 50 competencies are really important, and they work together well and support one another. They are interconnected and have a flexible application in real life scenario. So it can be applicable in education, it can be applicable in e-internship programs, it can be applicable in workspace, it can be applicable in work engagement or business. So having said that, we can directly go to the group discussion. I think Anya will do the group setup, right, Anya?
Yeah, okay. Let me just quickly do this. I will put all the participants automatically into a group. And I will try to put the 15 different aspects into the chat so that you can see them again. All right. Right. You will find yourself in a room. You need to accept the
Hello?
Yeah, Usman?
Abi, man, mas yangi.
Just enter the room.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Hi, Anya. You are in our
Yeah,
room.
you requested help. That's why I'm here.
Yes, we wanted to know how long are we here
One more
for
minute.
and what was the
I'm going to close it now, actually. Now.
Oh,
Are
okay.
you done or not yet?
We didn't get the instruction.
So, do you need more time?
What are we meant to do?
Oh, you were supposed to discuss which of the skills were the most important ones.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe we need more time then, Anya.
I copied them in the chat.
Okay, sorry, we missed that. Okay, can you just give us just a few minutes?
Yeah, okay, it's all right.
Thank you.
So we can't access the chat.
Yes, you can't.
Let me see.
You should be able to.
Okay, there is the chat. Okay, the chat, I'm picking up what's just written in terms of the question that was asked by Professor Voss. I don't see anything else.
You don't see my post?
No.
Oh.
No, I just see professors. That's all.
What? Why is mine's not there? I can see mine.
Can you? Temeli, do you see Anya's? I just see.
Let me post it
I
again.
don't even see professors.
It's all there now. Now I see. Now I see something. Okay. All right. Here is it. Mobilizing resources together, manage financial, human, material resources. Understand financial concepts. Mobilize, inspire, lead, engage people, goals, taking the initiative, act independently and proactively, planning management, organize. Okay. Can the others see?
Yes.
Everybody should be able to see it. Yeah. So I'm going to leave you now.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Anya.
Thank you.
In which room am I actually right now? Let me see.
In room 4.
Room 4? Okay. How? Okay.
I don't see here how to integrate a group.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you all had an interesting group discussion. So now you can say your reflection. I want to hear what you have identified as the most critical element in internship program. So let us hear your reflection on it. Am I in another group or? Saga?
Not everyone has retained. I think we only have 40.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So we have to wait a bit.
Okay. So is everyone back? Can I continue?
Yes.
Ania. So if you can hear me, I hope everybody had a good discussion. Our group was very interesting. So I want to hear your reflection on the question that was raised. What was your 3 critical interpenal competency that are important in internship programs? I can start with you, Jennifer.
Yeah, I'm happy to start.
Right.
So in our group, there were 4 people, and we found it very hard to choose 3. So we settled on 4. So from the discussion, we settled that we feel the problems or the biggest challenges we identify from the intra-corp was the spotting opportunities, how to effectively mobilize resources, taking initiative, and persevering and sustaining the motivation even when we take the initiative. So these were the 4 we settled on. Thank you.
Nice. And can you tell me why? Like taking initiatives, spotting opportunities, motivation, why these competencies are very important? Because the question after identifying the competencies is why.
Okay, so I think we were discussing it from the different countries we come from. So Ghana, myself, and then from Ethiopia. And we were saying that on the continent, we do have a lot of resources. And the problem we have sometimes is that people don't even see the opportunities around them. So they don't see what opportunities exist. And we are very passive in that sense. And we are also very polite in mobilizing resources. We are not, if I can use the word, aggressive. We don't know how to bring people together or even reach out to somebody to ask for support when we lack something. And for the few who are brave enough to even start something, after a few maybe weeks or months, they give up when they face some sort of challenge or a slight problem along the way. But to succeed, you need to be able to keep trying and trying and trying again until you achieve what you want. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for your reflection and participation. Who else wants to share? I want to hear perspective from, I think this group is from, most of them is from Africa. So I want to hear something from the Europe. Anybody from Europe? Did anyone raise their hand? I can't see.
Yes.
All right.
Hello, this is Marco.
Aga, I think Aga raised. Who raised?
Marco raised, so Marco.
Oh, okay, Marco, go ahead.
Hello. Well, we were a small group, 4 of us. Lucas and myself. There was Ruth and Abraham. So we had a small introduction and a short introduction, and then Lucas presented us his experience with entrepreneurship, and it was really great. Great to hear what young people do with great ideas and entrepreneurship competencies to understand where is potential for the new value and to see it in the angles where many people will not see it. And I was really excited to hear from Lucas how he created this great endeavor, and Lucas, many success with the startup. Thank you.
Okay, Thank you. So did you pick the 3 critical elements or competencies that work in European context in the internship program?
Well, no, but I may say that I would nominate, for example, spotting the opportunity as the basic one, because I think it reflects the shift of how we think, the mindset, to be capable to recognize the opportunity. And then the one from the second, from the resources, would be competence related to mobilizing either people or the funds. And the third one, in European context, I would nominate ethical thinking and sustainability, because I think entrepreneurship without ethical thinking and sustainability is not really entrepreneurship, but just execution of the idea. Yeah, these 3 would be my favorite.
Okay, thank you, Marco. Thank you for your reflection.
Thank you.
So, so in most of you, like in Africa and also in Europe, spotting opportunity and mobilizing resource seen as the most critical competency that everyone need to practice or need to learn. Because especially in Africa, in Ethiopian context, if you go everywhere, there are so many opportunities, and there are people who can even see problems as an opportunity, but sometimes they use they close their eyes for the available opportunity. So developing that competency is, I think, very important. And also from African context, we might complain of not having enough resource, but actually we have all the resource that we need in order to engage in any business or in order to engage in any activity. So I think those are also important. And as Jennifer was saying, perseverance and motivation are also important, since when you bring some kind of idea, business ideas, you need to keep that motivation and momentum throughout your business lifetime. So these are also important. Sustainable thinking is also very important. So as I said earlier, these competencies are equally important, but you might say based on the context, based on the situation, the importance might vary. So if Ania, if you are there, you can share the slides, the next slide. Ania? So I can continue with mine. Thank you, Ania. So why intercom competencies or framework is very important in our internship program. So the AgriMock e-internship program will create a platform or a situation for our learners or participants, a real life business experience. We are going to invite entrepreneurs, business owners to work with the participant that will help our participant to engage in real life or real business problems. So this e-internship program, the AgriMock e-internship program, will help the learners to set as a team and ideate their ideas as in a group, and it will also help them to identify opportunity with their context. This, in their group, they can brainstorm ideas, they can find solutions, they can also mobilize resources. We are going to provide and we are going to give them a real life experience, so that in order to solve those problems, they need to be more creative and manage their time and manage their resources. So this e-internship program will bring the intercomp framework into practice. So it will help the participant practice what they have learned in school in e-internship program. So Anya, you can go to the next slide. So this framework is not just a framework, it is a bridge. Why is it a bridge? As you can see, most of you are from higher educational institution. You know that after taking the theory, learning the theory, the student, the participant or the trainees, they don't know how they are going to apply that theory into practice. But having this framework will help us to bridge the gap, since they implement such framework in their internship program, they can easily understand what they have learned in theory and put them into practice. So it bridges those gaps that we see in education and work. We see in job seekers and employers. So employers always complain about how incompetent their the employees are. So being or having this intercom framework, it really helps the participant to practice what they know as a theory. So I think I can stop here. Thank you everyone for the participation, and thank you everyone for listening. Over to you, Anya.
Thank you very much, Tigirida. Sorry. With this, we're tight on time. We have still a bit more to cover. Matt, therefore, I would like to ask you to really keep it as brief as possible, and just give us a quick insight into what the simulation at the end of the program will look like. The floor is yours, Matt.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, and I will try to go as fast as possible. So on the agenda, if you look there where the blue arrow is, that's where the business play and the virtual simulation fits in. Go to the next one. Yeah, so it's just a training component for higher education staff in AgriMocks. So it's just one component. What it will look like is, if you look at the screen in the middle, you've got two little grey people, one from South Africa and one from Germany there, and they would be the facilitators. If you go around on the outside, you see a team from Finland, Senegal, Ghana, and then a joint team at the bottom from Serbia and Ethiopia. Left side is business play, so we'll get an entrepreneur. Teams will be formed virtually, we'll give them a social issue. They will come up with solutions and they'll virtually collaborate to be able to solve solutions. And then they'll start a simulation. So one will lead on to the other one. Simulation will be digital, and they'll be given scenarios, they'll receive feedback, and everything that they've learned up until that point, they'll be applying within the simulation. But again, it all comes down to collaboration virtually. Be aligned to the EntreComp framework that we just saw. Some of the things I wrote down that people were saying was about spotting opportunities. Definitely be doing things like that. It's really designed to shift mindset of students. So,
sorry, was I too fast?
Fine. Why it will work, again, it comes back to that bridge now between the theory and the practice. Really, we want to design something that supports students with limited access to internships, and it will work across African and EU contexts. So one of the roles, and again, it's just one part of the AgriMocks program, is a practical tool. And delegates feel like they're playing a game. It will support the green transition. We really want to look at the mindset when we're saying building entrepreneurial competencies. Especially in Africa, the mindset is very much you go to school, you go to university, and you get a job. the mindset is not you go and start a business on your own, even though there's lots of opportunities. So we're hoping that the way that the delegates start interacting with each other, they can actually come up with ideas between themselves as well as dialogue. So it will be proper cross-cultural teamwork, solving problems. The simulation part, participants are in a virtual business over several cycles. And delegates make decisions in different facets of a business, would be finance, marketing, HR. They'll compete and collaborate with each other in different market scenarios, and then they're given feedback. If you could go to the next one. And rounds are designed in a simulation to build on the previous one. So every time they get feedback, they learn. There's a scenario, they do the scenario, give feedback, and delegates learn. Yep, the open learning pathways, students can specialise in roles. So they can be the CEO, or they can be the finance director, or the marketing director, and then they can swap. So they can either stay as they are, or teams can swap around as they want. But we're going to do it in such a way that will allow you to align the courses or modules to your own institutions. Next one, please. This is what our learning platform will look like from a facilitator point of view. So there'll be dashboards, and we will teach and capacitate facilitators on how to use the system.
Having a post going on before networks.
And how we're going to integrate it, it's going to be part of a two-phase internship model.
It's on
the practical rounds. It will complement the soft skills that students have learned further leading up to this point, and it support talent development.
Oh.
Okay, cool. Next one.
Somebody is talking. Please mute yourself. Thank you.
And the final takeaway, as I said, it's just one of the practical components of AgriMocks. Simulations give youth and higher education students and staff real work experience. They support digital and intercultural development, and they assist in making AgriMocks inclusive, impactful, and scalable.
Thank you, Matt. That was very fast. I appreciate that. But participants might have questions for you. So I don't know, maybe you can see them yourself. I can't, Matt, if you want to take questions from the floor.
No, there's no questions. Wait a minute.
Raise your hand.
Oh, wait a minute. So from Prof is liking answering questions. What technical and academic resources do institutions need to allow students to participate? It's a three-part question. So the first part is the answer to answer that question is all they need is a device and internet connection to be able to participate. How realistic is the virtual company simulation? It's very realistic. If you think of like a flight simulator, it's not as robust as that, but the feedback that we get is that students and delegates feel like they're running a real business. Will the simulation be tailored to a student-specific interest? The simulations aren't, but rounds are. So when they're given feedback and they do exercises, those will be. Have I answered your question there, Prof, or your questions? Yes.
If anybody has a question, they can also just raise their hand and shout out.
Right, no more questions. Thank you very much indeed.
Great, good. Thank you very much then. Somebody still has their mic open. Let me just quickly see. I think that was it. Okay. Good. Then let's move on to the last part of our webinar for today, which goes back to Nikosa in South Africa. And this time it's the colleague Tembeni who is going to talk a little bit about career guidance in e-internship. The floor is yours, Tembeni. Are you there?
I'm here. Thanks, Anya. Can you show the slides for me? Okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity and everyone that has presented so far. Mine is career guidance in e-internship. So the career guidance, the purpose of it is basically to tackle youth unemployment, skills mismatch, and improving employability. We know that youth unemployment is a challenge, not just in Africa and Europe, but globally as well. And career guidance helps us to prepare and tackle this challenge. So the AgriMocks platform will help us grow career development through virtual exchange, digital tools, and institutional collaboration. And insights from partner organizations or countries will help us speak common challenges, unique innovations, and clear opportunities to strengthen career guidance services that we offer. What are the benefits of career guidance within the student's environment? Sorry for that, Anya. It will help them to clarify their future direction, remove anxiety that they have about subject and career choices, and build confidence about their future. It will also improve their academic performance because they have a reason why they need to perform, as they will see where they are going. Higher motivation and engagement will be stronger, as well as stronger job readiness. And this will also help them deal with mental health issues as well as depression, because they're now taking control of their own lives, their own path, and their own journey. And then benefits for schools and universities. The universities and schools will also have better alignment between programs and the labor market, improved retention and graduates rates. So a reduced dropout from university and schools, and then stronger industry partnerships because there's alignment in terms of the pool that, with what the industry is needing. And then more employable graduates because they would have received employable skills and they are well-rounded and ready for the work environment. And then benefits for the economy is skills aligned with market needs, a reduced unemployment rate, and stronger innovation and entrepreneurship because now they are driving their own journeys and their own career paths. And then the next slide is basically the career choices are influenced by these factors, meaning the learners or the students' career decisions are influenced by these factors, which are social, academic, economic factors, and these must be taken into consideration when we implementing career guidance because they do have an impact in the decision of the student's life. Next slide, please. So the current state of career guidance is basically there's misalignment. It addresses misalignment in terms of study choices. So when a learner is prepared and ready for whatever they have chosen, then it will reduce misalignment of study, which will address the skills mismatch. And then dropout rates will be dropout and high switching rates will be low and reduced, and skills gap and skills mismatch will be minimized. Low motivation and disengagement, which are things that I've highlighted in the previous slide. And then long-term underemployment and unemployment, which is currently an issue in that we find that our young people are qualified, are getting more educated, but they don't get opportunities that are aligned to what they have studied for, which then leads to underemployment or unemployment. Then limited access to job opportunities will be addressed, meaning if someone has chosen a career that is not in demand by the labor market, then opportunities for this person will be limited, because either there's an oversupply of that particular skill, or there's no need for it at all. Then limited access to resources is also a challenge, in that rural areas or under-resourced areas don't have access to offer career guidance, because they don't have resources, they don't have the skills to do so. It's due to a packed curriculum over the 12-month period of school or university. Time to implement career guidance effectively is minimized. So it is a challenge to implement it effectively. And then lack of formal and structure and guidance, because it's not formalized and it's not taken as a priority, it doesn't get the attention it deserves to have formal structures and policies in place, so that it becomes part of the curriculum and it's formally recognized as one of the curriculums that need to be covered either at school or universities. Negative perceptions of the agri sector. The youth still view agriculture as they undermine it, and they don't take it as an opportunity. Therefore, there's still work that needs to be done in this space to encourage youth to also look at agriculture as one of the areas that offer opportunities. Because I'll give an example. In South Africa, there's a migration of youth from rural areas where there's land, where there's opportunities for agriculture, and they move into cities. And there's no one that is left behind to work in the farms, so they don't have those skills. So now we need to encourage is where they are. And then another one is the shortage of trained professionals. The schools do desire to offer career guidance, but they don't have trained professionals or resources to offer career guidance. And then limited access for disadvantaged groups, which is your rural areas or marginalized groups or foreigners or people from other countries. Those people don't get prioritized when it comes to resources, when it comes to career guidance or opportunities or job opportunities or study opportunities. Next slide, please. So innovative ways to enhance the traditional ways, which are listed here, of career guidance, as the world is changing fast. Traditional methods are not enough. They need to be enhanced with what we are doing, which is e-internship. There's a need for digital, experiential, and personalized methods. Youth require guidance that fits global, hybrid, and technologically driven realities. Next slide, please. Innovative ways to offer career guidance is, in this case, we are proposing internship as a model to offer career guidance. It will help us identify the interests and talents, matching with professions, testing talents and interests, career tracking systems. And this will be over and above the traditional methods, just focus on limited group of people where you offer one-on-one to a smaller group, but because it's offered online, then you have a chance to offer to a lot more people at the same time. What to expect? Students and youth will find a safe space to discover their strengths and preferences. They will have an opportunity to discover the structure, roles, and responsibilities in a company and to identify possible job and business opportunities, like Matthew has mentioned. And in a mentor-led sessions, they will practice writing CVs and application letters. They will conduct mock interviews. They will work together with a team of peers in a real company where they find with a real life entrepreneur who will provide problems to be solved by the team members and who will give them feedback on a continuous basis until they have completed the process. Then peer-to-peer learning is also going to be part of the process. Sorry, next slide, Anya. Students will be encouraged to mentor one another, particularly in this case where we need and we have an opportunity to learn from other countries, the way of doing things, what's working for them and what's not working, etc., etc. So that a virtual exchange needs to be encouraged in this place. And then facilitate discussions on goals, challenges, and opportunities will be taking place. This will encourage group learning and shared experiences across the different countries and will motivate participants to continue participating in the program. Opportunity scouting has been mentioned quite a bit by the previous presenters. I won't dwell on it. So next slide, Anya. And then the next slide is assessment, innovative assessment tools, which include career matching tools. I'll just give a summary of it, of what Anya has. Interactive personality assessment tools. This is now over and above the traditional ones because things like journaling is gonna be encouraged, as well as things like introspection will need to be encouraged as part of their self-discovery journey. So Anya has a quick quiz that she wants us to do it will take less than 2 minutes to do. So Anya, can you put the link on the chat?
I think it will be difficult because people are not signed up to the platform.
Oh, I see.
What I wanted to do is just give them a quick check-in so that they can see. Let me stop sharing here and stop sharing my other screen so that we can see what is happening. So let me share again. This one. So just to give you a quick idea of what Tambeni was talking about. So as a intro into the topic of what is my personality, what are my strengths, how am I dealing with different situations, we have created just a fun, quick personality test that matches your personality to an animal personality. So we provide different animal personalities with different skills, and then students can do a quick personality test. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so you see,
Yeah.
okay, so the participant then would just click on start and then would be guided through a number of questions. So I want one of you now to shout out what you want me to click to check your personality. Can you? So the first question, how do you typically engage with others? A, I thrive on socializing and what? Somebody mute themselves. Okay, so again, how do you typically engage with others? I thrive on socializing and enjoy interacting with many different people. B, I work best with a close-knit group of people forming deep bonds. C, I prefer solitude and staying close only in a small trusted circle. And D, I observe and learn from others before interacting cautiously. Who gives me their choice?
A.
A. All right. Next question. How do you approach complex problems or challenges? I use creative, unconventional strategies and think outside the box. B. I rely on strategy, cunning, or careful observation to get the best outcome. C. I stick to known methods or avoid the challenge when possible.
A.
B.
We're checking one person here now. Okay, third question. How do you respond to new environments or changing circumstances? I adapt quickly, learn from my surroundings, and seek innovative solutions. B. I observe carefully and act when confident or safe. C. I prefer familiar routines and environments.
A.
This is a very daring person here. 4. How do you function in situations requiring cooperation? I take initiative and lead or organize my group. B. I work independently, relying on my own skills and judgment. And C. I adapt as needed, sometimes helping, sometimes observing.
C.
B. All right.
C.
Oh, now sorry, I've done B.
It's fine. It's fine.
Next question. How do you respond to the struggles or emotions of others? A. I naturally offer comfort, protection, or assistance even to strangers. B. I show empathy to selected people with whom I sometimes even form unexpected deep connections. C. I mainly focus on myself or my close circle, helping only when necessary or asked to help. D. I mostly focus on my own interests, but notice and respond to important changes around me.
A.
A.
Right. 6. How do you approach learning and acquiring new skills? A. I quickly learn new things and adapt my approach creatively. B. I use cleverness and observation to solve problems, sometimes slowly but effectively. And C. I learn steadily and prefer tried and true methods.
A.
B.
I'm going with A because the person I want one person here. How do you relate to loved ones or things you care about? A. I form deep, lasting bonds and may make sacrifices for others. B. I'm empathetic or nurturing but maintain independence. C. I enjoy relationships but also need personal space. D. I mostly focus on myself but pay attention to changes around me or important cues.
A.
A. All right, let's see. How do you respond to dangers or threats? I use clever tactics or escape strategies to outsmart danger. B. I protect others or my group even at personal risk. C. I rely on stealth, caution, and observation. D. I carefully assess threats and adapt my behavior to avoid danger.
B.
B. So, what kind of person do we have here? Ta-da-da-da!
Da-da-da-da!
We have a blue and gold macaw.
Macaw.
You're energetic, sociable, and quick thinking. You love exploring and learning, but still need moments of independence to recharge. Your enthusiasm and curiosity are infectious.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me stop here.
That was fun. Thank you so much, Anya. We have a question on the floor, which is asking if someone has access to the model, how can they access the test?
Oh, okay, so if they have access to the test, let me just quickly share it here. We need to go back here. Give me a sec. Just 1 minute. 1 minute here. Here we go. So here, let me go. Where's the chat? Need to find the chat. So The first one is the animal descriptions, and the second one is the test. Let me see. Sharing it in
Mavungu, you've got the link in the...
Wait, I'm separating it because like the first one was a bit messy.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so
All right, thank you.
click on the link in the chat and then you can access the animal descriptions as well as the test. And I think this is one of the tools that we are offering on the online platform for our students to just discover the topics that we are teaching them in a fun and like easy way. Well,
thank you, Anya, for that demonstration. That was very interesting. I'm sure they will find it interesting and engaging once they start using it. So in conclusion, I think it's my last slide.
Just go ahead. I won't share it.
No need. Because everyone is here as a result of us wanting to help the young people align to their career path, align to their future, and succeed in life. So this is the reason why. And for me, it starts with career guidance. And without career guidance, our efforts, our individual efforts in our corners sometimes becomes fruitless and doesn't produce the results that we invested in. So career guidance is the foundation, I think, of a person's life to align themselves to a successful and a fruitful future. And it requires innovation, technology, and collaboration. So if the youth is empowered, we will see strong economies, we'll see engaged youth, and youth that is less going through mental challenges and loving their lives. Thank you from my side. I'll hand it over to you, Anya.
Thank you very much, Tembeni. That is a spot landing on 5 o'clock. We actually managed to get through all of these very interesting and full of information presentations in good time. I hope all of you enjoyed it. You learned something. I would like to thank all of you again for being here today and sharing this webinar with us. And if you have any follow-up questions, if you want to learn more about the AgriMocks program or become a partner in the AgriMocks program or a participant, feel free to contact any of us. We will repeat this session tomorrow for youth organizations in particular. But I'm really happy that everything went well today, and I'm very thankful to have had this time with you. Anything from Marco, Dragana's, Matt's side, from any of the other colleagues? Would you like to say your farewells? Should we take a group picture? Maybe you all switch on your video and we just take a quick picture. Can we? Okay, I have you all. Some haven't switched on their cameras yet. Can I see a few more? Okay, here we go. Thank you very much. I have taken your picture and I hope I have your permission to use it. All right, good.
And share it with the rest of the group.
Yeah, please share it with us.
Okay. Give me a sec. Here we go. Uploading on the chat.
Okay, great.
All right, then I wish you a good night, a good evening, wherever you are. to our team. We'll see each other tomorrow again.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye, everybody.